January the 25th, which is a day to celebrate the work and life of Scotland's most famous poet, Robert or Rabbie Burns. Quite typically on a day like this, you might wear your tartan if you are eligible to wear one. I've got my Campbell tartan that I wear as a result of family on my mother's side. And you also might have a Burns supper. And a Burns supper would be haggis, which is a kind of entraily, meaty, oatmeal-y, spicy-ish dish, served with neeps and tatties, which are turnips and potatoes. Now, the potatoes great. We had mashed potato and haggis at the weekend, and even the kids tried some. They didn't really like it, so there was more for me and Kate. But you have a nice dinner. But seriously, who wants turnips at their dinner? Ugh, that is nasty stuff indeed. But I've already made a cocktail, the Scottish cocktail that I made. I made a Bobby Burns that would be kind of in honour maybe of Rabbie Burns, or maybe it was in honour of a cigar salesman, as I mentioned in the other video. For me, really, Burns Night gives me the opportunity to, as I say, eat haggis and also read the address to a haggis in my dreadful, apologies to all my Scots friends, dreadful Scottish accent. And my favourite part is when they're talking about the gushing entrails of the haggis, and it talks about being warm, reeking, rich, and that's my trilling R's fake Scottish accent. Once again, my apologies. But as I made that cocktail before, I'm going to make a different one tonight, and this is one that's adapted from one that I saw in Sunset magazine, and it's called a Mr. Burns. You can see the relevance straight away, but also Mr. Burns on The Simpsons is possibly one of my favourite ever characters, and when me and the youngster first moved into this house back in 2015, we watched a lot of Simpsons. In fact, I bought the DVDs. Yes, people still watch those things. Sorry, I'm one of them. And we watched the first, at that point there were only 17 seasons available, then the 18th became available, then the 19th, and the selections of the 20th, and we watched all of them linearly in chronological order, and it was fantastic. So yes, we can celebrate Rabbie Burns tonight, but let's also have a think about the eponymous Mr. Burns as well. And this cocktail is still a whiskey cocktail, so it's highly fitting for today's celebration. I am using a blended whiskey, Teacher's Highland Cream, and we need 2 ounces of that. And then to go with that, we need some vermouth. We are not having dry or sweet, we are having bianco vermouth, and I'm having Cinzano bianco in this. We need 3/4 of an ounce of that. And so that's an Italian ingredient, and the third ingredient is also not Scottish, but we've got the whiskey, so I think we're okay. Bénédictine. And we are going to go for 1/2 an ounce of that. And the recipe I saw, and other ones like this, call for Peychaud's or Angostura aromatic bitters. But the problem with those is they turn the drink a bit pink, and Mr. Burns is obviously a bit on the yellow side, as is Homer and Marge and Bart and all the rest, Lisa, and all the rest of them in that fantastic series. So I'm just going to put some orange bitters, just 1 dash in there. You don't want to overpower it and make it too sweet, although there is something about Mr. Burns that makes you think he's going to really like a sort of sweet, sickly cocktail. This is not sweet and sickly, it is delicious. Let's give that a stir and think about Mr. Burns, his relationship with Smithers, and think about releasing the hounds. No, I don't have any hounds, but we can release this cocktail, unleash it onto the world. There we go. That's about 20 seconds, as I say. Maybe it was a bit less, but that's okay. And then let's strain this cocktail into a chilled cocktail glass. So you can see it's not perfectly yellow, but it has got an amazingly good yellow colour. And the last thing we're going to do is something a little more yellow. Again, it's kind of like the colour of Mr. Burns' skin. We're going to take the peel of some lemon, and quite a big one, and squeeze the oil into the drink, and then you can roll it round, put it in like that, and let's see what we've got. Ah yes, excellent.